these shows, I can see all your faces. No filters. I've probably chatted with you some online before. But I not always do we see each other's faces with no filters, just us here. It's very special to me that we're all together and we can see each other. Is that cheesy? No. It's very special to me. I want to ask you a question, okay? Yeah. How many people here have heard me talk about the song All Around Me before? That's cool. How many people have never heard me talk about the song All Around Me before? Not as many. I've told this story a million times. Probably not a million, but a lot. Yeah. And I asked that because if it wasn't for that story, I wouldn't be alive. And I know we all have those stories. I have several stories now. I'm 43. Never thought I'd make it to 43. How many people in here are 43 and never thought they'd make it to 43? You don't? That's me. I might be the only one. 42 and a half counts. Well, how many people are old enough to know you didn't know you'd make it this far? And you know, if it wasn't for this story, I wouldn't be alive. And I think sometimes I wonder a lot, especially when I see people that don't make it out alive, why I made it out alive, why am I still here? Yeah, and we wrote a song in Fly. How many Flyleaf fans are there? You guys are singing that Flyleaf song really loud. You know, there's a song called Cassie that we wrote about that. We're not gonna play that song. Don't get excited. It's about the Columbine High School shootings. And you know, I was in high school when that happened. And I remember being so amazed that somebody who believed in God and was a Christian that was targeted by somebody because they were a Christian. And those guys that did that probably would have been my friends, because that's the kind of kid I was. I hated people. I hated Christians especially. If you talk to me about God, I hated you more than everybody. Because I felt like that was telling people to sit in a broken chair. It's wrong. God's not going to help you. I didn't really know what I was saying. I was thinking, because at that time, you know, I'll just tell you a real snippet of whatever. I don't want to make this too long. Because a lot of you have heard this story before. But I had a cousin that was murdered. He was beaten to death by his stepfather at 3 years old. And I was 10 when it happened, and I remember thinking, how could there be a God who could watch that happen? I don't want to believe in it anymore. My mom would tell me, she was a teen mom. She was 15 when she had my brother, 16 when she had me. Eventually there were 6 of us, and still no dad. And she would be like, God's going to help us, and of course he would. He'd break down on the side of the road. And you know, when I was a kid, we didn't have cell phones, and you just didn't know what was going to happen. And so she would just say, God's going to help us. I'm like, what are we going to do? She'd give our food stamps to the babysitter. I'm like, what are we going to eat? And she's like, God will take care of us. And then, of course, he would. And so I believed in God. But then when I was 10, I had this little cousin of mine that was like my little brother, beaten to death by his stepfather. And I thought, he didn't take care of him, you know? And so I quit believing in God. And I actually thought it was wrong to be happy in a world where that happens. And so I hated happy people. And I thought, you're either messed up or you're naive. How can you be happy? And I would talk myself into being sad every day. If I caught myself being happy, I would tell myself something to make myself sad, because I thought that was the right way to be. And I wrote down all the bad things that would happen so I could think about them at night, and I would cry myself to sleep at night every night. It was my practice. I probably needed counseling. I didn't have that. But that's what I did since I was 10. And when I was 16 years old, you know, I thought, you know, people talking about God all the time because they want to control me. And so if you tell me something's a sin, I'm going to go do it, because you're not going to control me. And so I would go out, and the thing is, I realize now, the truth is, the thing about sin is it's actually it's just another word for something that leads to death. It's just like poison, right, to our soul. And I realized the more I was in that, the more dead I felt inside, deader and deader and deader, until I just wanted my outside to match my inside, and I didn't want to wake up anymore. And on this day, I planned to take my life. At 16, I had a very dramatic encounter with God. It was like a near-death experience. And I realized that's very unique. Now, at first I thought everybody who said they believed in God had the same experience. But I realized it's not the case, and I don't know why this happened to me, except that I get to tell you tonight about it. And then it was terrifying. I was in front of this God I did not believe in. And it was terrifying because, first of all, this isn't an accident. I'm not a mistake. This life is given as a gift. And what did I do with it but hate people? I realized I blamed everybody else for all the things in my life, but my hatred was all my own. It was my responsibility. It was all mine. And God is perfect love. And to stand in front of perfect love and full of hate is terrifying. You just want to hide, but you can't, because God is light. And you're in eternity. And nothing you can't just say, oh, that was yesterday. It's all present right there. It's all there with you, part of you, in front of God who's light. And you can see all of it. And it's like, they say your life flashes before your eyes, but it's just right there. It's not like a sequence. It's like, this is who I am. I didn't know. How can I hide? Can I just go to hell now? To the demons I'm comfortable with? I can't stand in front of this perfect love. It's too good. It's goodness. How? But the thing about it too is that it's love is perfectly free. It does not coerce you. It does not force you. That's not love. And I felt that feeling of him drawing me, and I kept waiting for him to condemn me, but it wasn't. I was condemning me. He was looking at me with love. And I was totally confused by that. I never knew that's what that was like. That's not what my mom taught me. I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. And I was scared and terrified. And I remember waking up or coming out of that experience, not understanding why I was still alive. And I also understood that God's an artist. He's created every single thing. Like we create like art, like I write songs or whatever, but he's we make t-shirts. We have t-shirts back there. My husband designed those t-shirts. He took a photo of me, and did this thing with paint, whatever. We designed album art that has like an eagle on it, right? Like this. But God actually makes eagles that are alive, and like he creates trees that are beautiful on an album, but like they're alive and they make more trees, and they've been doing that for centuries, and like birds live in them. It's like he's an artist who brings life. And guess what? I remember going to school the day after that experience, and looking at all the people I hated the day before, and realizing that's his art. This God of love created each one of us. And I was fascinated with human beings. Like, something about the art says something about the artist. What do you say about God? What do you say about his perfect God of love, who is awesome? And his freedom he gives us, and we can use that freedom to look like fallen divine creatures, like demons. And we can use that freedom to let him lift us up and teach us what divine love looks like. It looks like laying your life down by the person in front of you. That's divine love. That's what Christ means. He came to be in it with us, to live in his human life with us, to do it perfectly with love, and lay his life down for all of us, so that it's all forgiven and done if we just come to him. So just as me goes, I gotta hide, I gotta run. But then when I know that he actually invites us and forgives us of all that stuff and blots it out with his blood, divine blood, it's human and divine at the same time, somehow. And I know my justice is I have to come. He died for me to do it, and stay there and come. And that's his invitation to all of us. It's like, why are we here? Why? I didn't ask to be born. Why does any parent have a kid on purpose? To love them, to share their love, to share their life. And that's what he wants to give you, his life. And let his life live in you to look like him. And us all to see him in each of us. Like, we all have gifts. We all have something in us that only there is no DNA that has ever been or ever will be like yours. Never. That's phenomenal to me. You have something to say about who God is that only you can say the way you can say it. It's powerful. It's humbling. I'm thankful to be with you tonight. Thank you. Thank you for being with me tonight. That's what the song's about.